So the Department of State Services got more than it bargained when it arraigned prominent activist, publisher and presidential candidate of the AAC, Omoyele Sowore, on the 30th day of September before Honorable Justice M. Umar of the Federal High Court, Abuja. The DSS intended to charge Sowore on offenses of making false statements intended to incite public disorder, which it says was contrary to the Cybercrime Prohibition and Prevention (ETC) Amendment Act 2024 and the Criminal Code Act. When the matter came up on Tuesday, Sowore's counsel, Marshal Abubakar SAN, objected to reading of the charges, arguing that Sowore had not been properly served with the charges in line with the provisions of the Constitution to enable him prepare for his defense. Also, X, former Twitter, were not represented in court, even though Meta Corporation, owners of Facebook, were represented by Tayo Oyetibo SAN. Justice Umar directed that Sowore be properly served while adjourning the case to October 27th for plea to be taken in the matter. The DSS had accused Sowore of leveraging his social media platforms to disseminate information deemed false, damaging to the reputation of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The DSS filed this suit as part of what it described as enforcement against using the social media to commit cyber crimes like dissemination of false information. A lot of furor was generated when Sowore on the 26th day of August, through his media and X platform, replying to President Tinubu's statement, stated as follows: "This criminal official bat," that's the president's personal Twitter handle, actually went to Brazil to state that there is no more corruption in Nigeria. What audacity to lie shamelessly. The statement obviously did not go down well with the presidency, but it is shocking that the agency that took it upon itself was the Department of State Services, who via a letter dated 26 August 2025 described Sowore's statement as misleading and willful intention to further an ideology capable of serious harm, incitement, violence, cybercrime, hate speech, to discredit and disparage the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The DSS asked Meta Corporation and X, the owners of Twitter, to pull down Sowore's posts. Sowore stood his grounds, insisting that the statement was in line with his expression of his fundamental right to freedom of speech and expression, while X and Twitter, hearing from Sowore, refused to pull down the posts. Sowore's lawyers have continued to maintain that the post raising the controversy was in exercise of his right to freedom of speech and expression. His lawyers argued that the actions of the DSS was an attempt to violate his right to freedom of speech as guaranteed under the 1999 Constitution as amended and under international conventions and charters of human rights. The issues arising for debate here is whether it is the designation of the DSS to be sniffing through the social media spaces to see who is insulting the president or not. In addressing this, I would like you to take a listen to the words of Sowore. Take a listen.
As you are aware from the beginning, we knew that there was another voyage in waste of state resources. It was desperation on the part of the DSS to file charges where no offense was committed. And you saw that with what the lawyer to Meta said, that they have looked at the charges, nothing even related to an offense affecting Meta, that's Facebook. And I think the same thing applies to Twitter, and of course, it applies to me. Because there was no disclosure of any offense. If you see the charges they served me, they have one page of proof of evidence. And that was a picture, a still picture they grabbed, a screenshot from whatever they get of Tinubu standing in front. That's not proof of evidence. They did not even, I don't want to teach them what to do, because I know they will still come and fumble again next time. Then, the most important thing that ought to have been done, which was to serve me, they refused to serve me. They were hoping that they come and ambush me in the court. They did not want to serve me because they are afraid that I will prepare for trial.
And decided to come.
But I decided to come because even cases that don't concern me, I come to this court to attend to them. So, what is important, Nigerians, is that our focus on how to fix this country is our inalienable rights, and it's sacrosanct. In the process of doing that, we will not spare anybody because we are 200 million people and we deserve good governance, we deserve attention, we deserve accountability, transparency, we deserve the basic minimum standards of democracy and tenets, one of which is freedom of speech. You cannot litigate against us in any court or criminalize it. Even the man, the drunkard in the FCT, Nice Wike, who said an American has never called Trump a criminal, was presented with over 1,000 videos. The DSS claims that it's their job to protect the president. It's their job to protect him, but it's not their job to police free speech in Nigeria. That one is not. The DSS takes its inspiration from the Secret Service in the US, which exclusively protects the president of the US. The Secret Service has never filed a lawsuit against an American who said Trump is this or that, because they use America, that's what I'm using. But let's even concede, without admitting, that they don't do it in America. We can do it here. Because Americans don't have our type of problems. Americans have schools, they have functioning hospitals, they have great jobs, there's no unemployment. So Americans can decide to be complacent about calling out their leaders. We haven't gotten to where America was in 1900. So our own circumstances are different. And we must approach it with the tenacity and the ferocity that is required to ensure that those who claim to be our leaders, whether they rig themselves into office or they seize power, we hold them to account.
The pertinent question to be asked is, does the statement of Sowore, which allegedly called the president a criminal, fall within the purview of detection and prevention of crimes of state nature? Is making a comment that is deemed insulting or derogatory to the person of the president a crime of national proportion, which requires the DSS to intervene? The DSS primary duty is detection and prevention of crimes of state nature. Is Sowore's post about one of the biggest threats facing our nation at this time? Personally, I don't think so. Now, see what Rufai Seni had to say when Channels TV had the opportunity of analyzing Sowore's statement.
I have been a very big advocate of the DSS and what they've been doing in stemming the tides of insecurity. But if I'm going to give honest counsel, this was not the right way to go about it. And this is sad. You see, what they have now done is, a lot of people might not even have seen Sowore's tweets. He said he tweeted it on the 27th.
Yes.
26th of August.
I think it was 25th I saw.
What are we today? What are we today? 8th. I only knew about the tweets because they started talking about it and the letter they wrote over the weekend.
That's when you saw Sowore's tweet.
I didn't even know that he tweeted anything of that nature. This is not the way to go about it. Because, you see, we live in a country where, when we want to look at things on the pedestal of fairness, yes, what I would just say is it wasn't right to have called the president a criminal. You don't have any court judgment to be able to back that up. But secondly, the other part of the tweets, what the president also went to say in Brazil, that corruption is gone. Corruption is not gone from Nigeria. Secondly, on my point on the DSS, what is happening is the fact that when you start to say, okay, let's cherry pick, people will now ask you, what about what is happening in Edo, where NSCDC officials were killed? Why do we talk about? What about the people inciting violence online? Because the DSS statement talked about inciting violence, and the next thing, you are not doing anything.
Now, what is your opinion about the intervention of the DSS to the charge against Sowore over mere comment that is deemed insulting to the president? I think the DSS will continue to embarrass itself if it continues with this charge against Sowore. If you ask me, I will advise the DSS to withdraw the charge and stay out of such mundane matters. I think the DSS will continue to embarrass itself if it continues with this charge against Sowore. If you ask me, I will advise the DSS to withdraw this charge and stay away from such mundane matters, as it does not in any way fall within their purview. Matters like this will continue to embarrass the DSS. So my advice to them is that they keep off such matters as this. Well, what's your thought? Do you think the DSS have good ground to be intervening in matters like this, or matters that is deemed to be insulting to the president? What's your opinion? Let me hear your comment. Don't forget, we'll keep watching the debate as it unfolds as we continue to update you about developments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. God bless you.